Hey guys, getting close to 11:30 or so, and thought I'd do a quick check on this charge controller, see what he's doing. Been a while since I've done that. I was outside, noticed how clear it was, and it's actually kind of cool. So I thought I'd come here and take a quick look and see what's going on. So as you can see, it's sitting between 55 and 56 volts in the incoming at 19 amps. That's those 6 panels. Not doing too bad. It's knocking it down to 26.4 at 38.7 amps, going right to the battery bank. 1020 watts. Actually, it's just bulking. It's running the loads in the house right now. So it's a nice combination of work being done by the charge controller and the inverter. I have it set up that way or tweaked that way so it'll basically pull every single bit it can to run the loads. So, but there's that, and there's this too. Looks like Christmas came a little early for me. No, it's not the classic 150. I wish it was. Let me bring this down here, guys. There we go. I think that'll work. And just zoom in. I mentioned this in a previous video that I was going to change that NMPV3 out to an NMPV6, and in order to do that, I want to upgrade from 2 strings coming down from the combiner box. I'm sorry, from 1 string coming down to 2 strings. So basically, 2 of these. I actually considered 6 gauge for a while, and when I was looking at the prices, the 4 gauge was just about, I think, 15 cents more a foot, something like that. So I said, you know what? It's overkill. It's way overkill, but I'll go ahead and do 4 gauge. Now, what this wire is going to be used for is basically for the combined run coming down from the combiner box. So, quick recap, I have an NMPV3 out there right now, or up there right now, and it's going to be replaced with an NMPV6. I got 3 breakers in there now, which come down into, let me scoot you over this way a bit, into this gray pipe right here. Can you see it? Actually, no you can't. Yeah, here we go. This gray conduit right here is where the existing pair of wires come down, which is, it's just like this. It's a black one and a red one, just like this here. And what I'm going to have to do, and this is going to kind of suck is what it's going to do, I got to take all that apart. What I'm going to do is, let me get over here, is I'm just going to unhook it from here. I'm going to open up this E-panel here. I'm going to unhook it and just pull it down and pull it out through the garage, and I'm just going to do it that way, because what I'm also going to do is I'm going to replace that conduit with some EMT, some 1-inch EMT. You can get these guys in here, no problem. You can get 4 number 4s and a 1-inch EMT. If it seems to be tight, I'll get 1 1/4 inch. So I'm not too concerned about that. But that's what's going to happen with that, guys. Now, just to show you this wire, actually, I'm going to quit doing that. Show you this wire here. There we go. This stuff, it's like welding cable. It's basically boat cable is what it is. The jacket or the insulation it's tough, man. This stuff, I don't know if you can even see how thick that is. That's a really thick jacket. But it's pretty thick, pretty difficult when you cut this stuff. Make sure you have a sharp knife, and don't cut your hand because it does take some oomph to do it. But the cool part about it is this is just a nice piece of cable. It's already tinned, so that's a good thing. So it'll help reduce corrosion. But there's just so many strands in this. It's a very fine stranded piece of cable, and if you want to get everything out of your equipment, this is the way to go. A little pricey. You could use THHN if you want, and there is THHN in this E-panel, because it came with it. But for runs like this, the combiner runs, I want as little resistance as possible. So that's why I decided to go with this stuff. A friend of mine is in the solar industry, and if you're running really high voltage, grid tie stuff, THHN is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, because it's voltage. You're not pushing amperage. But when you start combining up, this stuff together, what is it? We're pulling 19, 20, almost 20 amps right now into the charge controller coming down off 3 panels. You know, you want as little resistance as possible. Now that is at 50, what is it, 56 volts, 19 amps, and some would say this is way overkill. Yeah, and it probably is. But you know what? It's extra capacity, and you know, you don't have to worry about it. It's done, and it's really not that much more money if you look at it in the long haul. So, but anyway, that's what I wanted to show you guys. So right next to this big chunk of cable, which we all know what this is for, is more cable. So I think I'm going to do, flip a coin, 2 out of 3, and see which one I'm going to do first. To be honest with you, running this, putting in that NMPV6 is going to be easier than doing that, because that is going to be that's going to be all day. I got to shut the power down. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. But this stuff here, this won't be too bad, simply because you just got to shut it all down and change it out. I already got the breakers in there. Just got to move them over from one box to the other. Probably take a couple hours, 3 or 4 at the most, and I'm done. The only thing that's going to suck about it is I'm not going to have a Classic 150 for a while, so I'm not going to be able to put those Solar World panels onto this guy here. And that's something else I was going to talk to you about, is that there may be a change. Just a quick recap. This is a 60 amp charge controller, guys. So so he can take 1500 watts at 24 volts. That's his max. Now in the summertime, that array, which is 1420 watts, 4 235s and 2 240s, so I hope my math is right. That array, it's not uncommon for him to be sitting at 1300 watts for a couple hours, and after a little bit, that fan on that charge controller starts to scream. So I've been doing some thinking about it, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is this. And there's a couple reasons for it. One, I don't want to overload that charge controller. 2, that charge controller is running an old version of software that has a bug in it. According to the guys at Outback, some of the information on here may not be completely accurate. It's cosmetic. It's just a bug. So I think what I'm going to do is when I get the Classic installed, I may take that thing and ship it to Outback and have them, update the software on it and be done with it. And then when I get it back, I'll put the 2 Solar World panels on there, because the 2 Solar World panels are 640 watts at 24 volts. That's going to be a piece of cake for him. That's not going to be that big of a deal for that little FlexMax 60 there. The other ones are, like I said, are 1420. That's not going to be that big of a deal for that Classic 150. He'll be able to run with that no problem, because I think he's a 94 or 96 amp charge controller, so plenty of capacity in that one. And the main, like I said, guys, the main reason is I don't want to burn this thing up. There's nothing wrong with this charge controller. Even though it is a 60 amp, that's fine. I mean, it'll run those 2 Solar World panels, no problem. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'll go ahead and pre-wire it all up. I'll basically just take this guy off, take all the connections that are going into it, and I'll hook it up to the Classic. There is a knockout. Let me put you guys down here. Sorry for the jumping around. Alright, let me show you this. There are some knockouts for breakers up here, so I have to get a few breakers. And let me show you this if I can. Right there. Those are going to be for NMEDC breakers from Midnight Solar. I got 3 slots up there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of them. There goes the fan. I'm going to use 2 of those. One will be for the Solar World panels. I'll probably put a 60 in there. Then I'll probably put an 80 between the charge controller and the battery bank. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much about it. Actually, now that I think about it, I may have to flip that a bit. I don't know. I gotta figure it out. It all depends what I end up doing. I may just leave it alone. I don't know yet. But to my point, here we go. We got, what is that? 1,000. Everybody can't see. 1,030. It's been sitting there for a little bit, and that fan is kicking on already. So, and it's been cleaned out and everything, so it's not like there's a bunch of dirt in there. But yeah, I think I may just move it over. I just got to look at the breakers, look at the sizes, because I know that that Classic can do up to 96 amps, and I want to say, you know what, I'm going to check, you know what, we'll just check together. Let's look at this. That is, okay, there's, yeah, those are all 63 amp breakers right there. So one's the battery bank to this FlexMax 60. The other one is to the actual charge controller itself. And the other one is the ground fault protection. So I think that if I get a Classic, I may have to upgrade that breaker to an 80. The one that goes to the, that would go to the charge controller. I don't know if they have those in DNREL or not, but I'll have to see. Because I think 63 amps is going to be a little bit on the low side for that Classic. So I know, I mean, looking right now, there's basically, I'm going to call it 20 amps coming into it. So, I don't know. And there's number 6 wire going to there, so it's not a big deal. But anyway, that's where it's at, guys, right now. Like I said, I just want to show you this stuff. This is awesome cable. Like I said, it's good stuff. Flexible, easy to work with, except for that insulation. Be careful of that insulation, man. That stuff is brutal. But if you want to get the most out of it, you know, especially when you're combining it and bringing it down, that's what's been working for me. No issues. When I get to doing this, I'll get the camera out. It's, like I said, it's gonna be a lot of fun unhooking. I gotta open this door up, and the wire goes right up to the very top, right there, above that, right up here is where it goes. There's a little bus bar that the positive lands and the negative lands, of course, right down here. So I gotta unhook all that. Of course, shove it all off at the breakers first. Unhook all that, unscrew this, bring it all down. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But that's okay. Gotta do it if I want that second set of panels up. Alright guys, that's it for now. You guys have a good one. Take care.